From the very outset of World War II, mines proved to be one of the most effective and inexpensive weapons available to any defending force. Entire defensive lines could be consolidated by the simple act of laying thousands of mines, protecting flanks, slowing down enemy armored spearheads, and channeling their movement into kill zones. Clearing such minefields by hand was dangerous, slow, and costly in manpower. While engineers had basic tools for probing and disarming, any serious mechanized army dreamed of an effective machine that could smash a path through a mine belt. A reliable, mechanical mine clearer promised to save lives, keep the advance moving, and give the attacker an advantage in offensive operations. Both the Allies and the Axis powers experimented with such machines, often with mixed results. The British pioneered one of the most famous mine-clearing concepts during the North African campaign, the mine flail. Early experiments mounted a rotating drum with chains onto tanks such as the Matilda and Valentine. When spun at high speed, the flail chains struck the ground ahead of the tank, triggering any mines in its path. Eventually, these efforts culminated in the famous Crab flail tank, part of Hobart's specialized funnies of the British 79th Armoured Division. These crab tanks were used to clear minefields during and after the D-Day landings, where they proved their worth in practice. But these early versions had a significant drawback. The flail required a separate engine. The vehicle became too wide, and it had to sacrifice its main armament. The Germans, facing the same problems of minefields, sought their own solutions. Among these was the Minenräumpanzer, or Mine Clearing Tank 3, an experimental vehicle developed around 1941. I've launched a special World War II Word Search puzzle book series, each volume dedicated to one of the pivotal battles of the war. They are a fun way to relive history while giving your brain a healthy challenge. Collect them all and build your own library of World War II battles in puzzle form. You will find the links in the description below. Based on the reliable Panzer III chassis, this unusual machine was given a dramatically raised suspension to improve ground clearance, with the theory being that the lengthened torsion bar arms and elevated hull could withstand mine blasts. The vehicle retained the basic Panzer III hull layout, but with modifications. The armored body was made of plates up to 30 mm thick on the front, while the roof and floor were only 16 mm. This offered limited protection, adequate against small arms fire, shell fragments, and the shock of nearby blasts, but far from invulnerable. The turret was completely removed and the opening sealed. The front was reworked to include mountings for a roller device. Internally, the layout remained standard: transmission in the front, crew positions behind, and the engine in the rear. The 300 horsepower unit was retained without modifications. The standard Panzer III suspension with 6 road wheels on torsion bars per side was deemed insufficient. Any mine blast near the relatively low hull risked crippling the machine. So engineers designed an entirely new raised suspension system. Large, inverted, Y-shaped struts mounted externally along the hull sides. Each road wheel was attached to these struts via a parallelogram linkage with 2 balancers, ensuring vertical movement while maintaining track alignment. The result was an extraordinary high ground clearance, estimated at 1.2 to 1.3 meters, far taller than any standard tank of the era. Supporting rollers guided the upper track run, while standard drive and idler wheels were retained from the rear. At the front of the hull, a heavy, triangular mounting bracket was fitted for the roller assembly. These rollers, likely steel discs grouped on common axles, were meant to press down on the ground ahead of the tank. As the rollers passed over mines, their weight would trigger the detonations, sparing the hull. Hydraulic cylinders may have allowed the crew to raise or angle the roller as required. The goal was to leave 2 cleared tracks wide enough for the following infantry and vehicles. The Minenräumpanzer III was crewed by at least 3 men, though some sources suggest up to 5, possibly including pioneers to disarm mines manually. No weapons were installed, leaving the crew reliant on personal arms for defense. With its roller attached, the vehicle reached a massive 12.5 meters in length, over 3.5 meters wide, and roughly 3 meters tall, larger than a turreted Panzer III despite lacking the gun. Only one single prototype had been built by Krupp. The trials revealed mixed results. While the suspension worked as intended, the rollers could indeed detonate mines. Several serious flaws emerged. The 30mm plates did not reliably withstand mine blasts and fragments. If the vehicle was immobilized in a minefield, the cleared path behind it became useless. And, last but not least, the suspension was highly complex and maintenance heavy. The German army concluded that upgrading the armor and refining the design would require starting over with a heavier base vehicle. Given the growing demands of the war, this was considered wasteful. So finally, the entire project was abandoned and the sole prototype disappeared. Its fate is still unknown. The Minenräumpanzer III was a bold attempt at solving one of the battlefield's deadliest problems. Its radical suspension and raised hull were unique, but its practical shortcomings doomed it. In the end, Germany relied on the human pioneers to clear minefields until the end of the war, at the cost of time, equipment, and lives. Like many experimental German machines of World War II, the Minenräumpanzer III demonstrated ingenuity but not practicality. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to support my channel, check out the PayPal donation link in the description or consider becoming a member. To make sure you don't miss my future work, subscribe to my channel please and press the bell notification button. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.